minister and Mimi said a couple of things that actually something he said was something that as I was thinking, how should I put this all together? And he didn't steal my thunder, but he mentioned it. It kind of made me think, okay, this sort of thing. He talked about being fearfully and wonderfully made, and Mimi said that you know, it's not like she's gone. She's still with us. And those are two things I want to just, I don't know, add into what am I telling you. I don't know how many of you, probably most of you know that I'm Jeannie's son. I didn't grow up with Jeannie. I was adopted early, and I grew up with a family in Texas. So when Jeannie found me in my early 20s, it was wonderful, and it was you know, it's different when you have you know, a mother and a mother, you know, someone, you know, and your affections are kind of turmoilic in a way, especially when you don't have the support of, you know, you have, you know, it was an interesting situation, but I'm so glad that that Jeannie took the time to find me. Growing up, pretty early on, I realized that I was not like my parents that I was growing up with. They were very different from me. There were parts of me that, even, you know, they didn't tell me that I was adopted for a long time, so I didn't know, but I knew I was different. And though hearing that, you know, when you're an early teenager or, you know, about to be, can be traumatic. There's something that within me that kind of clicked. It's like, okay, you know, it makes sense. And I'll tell this story. You know, growing up, pretty early on, I learned that I love music. You know, really loved music. I understood it more than a lot of people. It just kind of was something that I was good at when I learned. When I was in middle school, I got in a band and I chose to play. There was a few that I wanted to play, but I chose to play the drums. I found I was pretty good at it, and pursued it through high school, and was a part of that, played drums through the end of high school. Well, interestingly enough, my senior year, for some reason, you know, I just had a desire to learn another instrument. You know, I played the drums, but I really had a strong impression to play the flute. So I asked the first chair flautist, or if that's what you would call it, I said, hey, you know, can you teach me how to play the flute? And she said, yeah, I have an extra flute. I play the piccolo in the band, so here, take this, and here's a fingering chart, and this is what you do with your embouchure. And I started just on my own, you know, practice at home, and I carry, you know, I'm a senior, and I'm a guy, drummer, and I'm carrying a flute around school, you know. And it didn't seem to fit probably for most people, but for me it really did. It came kind of easy. And then fast forward, excuse me, to, you know, 3, 4, 5 years later, I get a call, and there's someone on the other line asking me questions, you know, all these different questions, and it was really strange. You know, I'm thinking, these are kind of, and then she says, okay, write this number down, sit down, and by that time I knew. I asked her, I said, are you my mother? She said, yes, I'm your mother. And the second question was, are you a musician? She said, yeah, I play the flute. And it all made sense. It all just made sense. And you know, at that time, she came and she came down and we met, and you know, it's been 20 plus years that we've spent together, and she'd come down every year or two and visit us. And you know, some of that time it was turmoil, like I said, because I have a mother over here who's very, she felt, you can just imagine the turmoil. You know, she felt maybe, I don't even know how to explain it, but you know, that kind of always existed. You know, but as I got to know Jeannie, I realized, wow, you know, I am just like this woman. She is, you know, I think I'm gonna start doing pottery too. And interestingly enough, yesterday I was like, maybe I could start doing pottery, and I could have my ashes molded into a pot. I don't know, that was just yesterday. I think a lot of stuff like that. But, for my family, I got married and had kids, and my family, they knew Jeannie, and they would tell me how much our expressions are alike, and our sense of humor, and all these things. And, Jeannie is the only grandparents, really, that my kids have known. She's the only grandparent. My mother passed, my father passed really early, and my mother passed, and she was never really, she never really, what's the word? She didn't, Jeannie really, she invested a lot into them. She really loved our family. She made it a point to always, contact them and be involved in their life. And really, she's the grandmother that they've known. And my wife, Kathy, she's grown, her and Jeannie have become very, very good friends. And anyway, in conclusion, we are fearfully and wonderfully made. God makes us. He knew us before we were born. He knew us in the womb. And Jeannie will live on. Inside, in me, all the things that I like about myself, they came from Jeannie. God used her to pass that to me and to my kids. And that is special beyond what I can relate to you or convey to you, because she was very, very, very special. And I wish I had more time with her. I wish, in hindsight, I wish, that we'd spent more time, and some of those barriers became insignificant before you realize, wow, I don't have another day with her. She touched a lot of people. She has so many more friends than I do. But if you see her smile, and you see those pictures, and you don't wonder why. She was a lovable, wonderful, joyful person, and she will be missed all the days of my life, but she will be remembered through my life and the life of her grandkids. So,
my name is Julie. I'm an old friend of Jeannie's. We met at the pottery, and I was trying to think how long ago this was, and I can only do it from my daughter's age. Maybe that's how we remember things, is when these things happen. And I think I started taking pottery when my daughter was 2, and she just turned 30. So 20-something years ago, I met Jeannie at the pottery, and we got friendly. We had a lot in common. I love music, but I was not musical, but I appreciated it. And we shared the pottery, the art.